Okay, so we are ready to welcome our special guest, Gloria Falstrom. She's a rock star wellness educator who's grown an incredible community by leading with trust and education. So Gloria, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored.
And you might be able to hear the birds in the background. Gloria is coming to us from sunny tropical Hawaii, so we can appreciate that because that sounds like the birds I hear outside my house in the Philippines.
Probably very similar.
Yeah. So I actually work closely with Gloria. She's in my coaching program, and it's one of the reasons I wanted Gloria to join us. But another reason is we just finished her growth tracker and noticed that, Gloria runs strong volume from 4,000 to 5,000 PV a month, and I felt that was something that many of you would want to aspire to. So if you could just quickly share with us, Gloria, actually how you got started in your business. Let's start with that.
Okay. Well, it was not intentional. I would have to tell you that. A friend called me and she said, well, first she invited me to hear a lady talk about a company. And I said, no, I had tried one and I hated it and I never wanted to do it again. And then she called me again and she said, you have to come hear this lady. These products have changed my life. She had stopped smoking after 25 years and she was only 45 years old. That was half her life, more than half her life. She stopped drinking. I had cut back on her drinking and she wasn't getting sick anymore. And at that point, my ears went bing like this because my son got sick a lot. He picked up most of the things that kids brought to school, which was not good for me because I was a single parent teaching part-time and I didn't have any substitutes. So if I missed class, they just missed class. And so he sometimes spent days in my office listening to music because I teach music. But anyway, what happened was that I had a particular class in like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a long one, so we took a break. And one day, one of my students asked me, where do you get all of your energy? And when I started taking just the multivitamin, after a month, I noticed that I had more energy, but I needed an hour's less sleep. So I thought, terrific. And didn't tell anybody. And so she asked me, and I said, well, I guess it's some products I'm taking. Well, I know, sir, I guess it's, what I'm using. Well, what is it? So I told her. She started ordering products, and one by one, many of these different students who are still good friends, if they're still alive, started ordering products. And so I backed into having a business. And through my church connection as a church musician, I sponsored some other people that, I would just pick on what they were talking about and suggest that maybe they'd like to try something. And we weren't into storytelling yet, but I realized that what I just told you was the story she told me in about 2 sentences.
Right.
And the story that I told my students was answers to their questions. And so, that's the way it goes. I was not trying to sell anything until I discovered that one of my downline was working out a business because my upline had told her about the business, and she was a realtor or had been. And then she told me that I might want to catch up with her so that I didn't lose her. So that was the start of my business. And I've had some business leaders who have gotten sidetracked by grandchildren and illness and other things. So without business leaders yet, I have a volume that runs between 4,500 normally to 5,000. And so my next goal is to find business leaders who want to join me in the effort.
Well, and that's what we talked about too, right? The beginning of the year is let's set a goal for the year. This is the beginning of the 90-day campaign. And so Gloria's decided she wants to become, rank up and add a business builder. And maybe just share with us if you could, Gloria. So, you've been in the business for quite a while. How many years is it now? It's 30 plus, I think, right?
43 going on 44 next month.
40 years, yeah. So
I started when I was 16. No, I'm kidding. But
you're pre-internet, that's for sure.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So how did you find, what was sort of your big challenge when social media came along and some of the more classic ways that you were building maybe became, I I wouldn't want to say like outdated, but it was just harder to do them. People, it's harder to get them on the phone, and people are more distracted, etc. What was the big challenge that you had moving on to social, would you say, in the beginning?
In the beginning, it was knowing what to do. Is like, from the very beginning, what do you say? And you get in front of the camera and you go, and then you turn it off and try again. So it's, do I sell them a product? What do I do? What is it I'm supposed to do? And we were taught at that point to make the list of 100 people and to bug all of them, which is mostly what it turned out to be. Start with your family and friends, which is the worst advice you can give a lot of people, even though I was fortunate that my whole family, except for one recalcitrant sister who orders one thing, basically have become users and not really building a business, but they helped keep me in business. But it was what to do, and then I found Your Freedom Project. And it was before we had a guide to walk us through the whole process. And so I looked through everything and basically didn't do a whole lot because I didn't have much guidance. And so that's an opportunity that I envy people having, but slowly, and especially with the coaching, I'm learning how to use a whole lot of things that I could have been doing better. But I do have groups there, and those are quite useful. In that, and having a wellness page or my business page where people can find me, and I do a weekly wellness show.
That's right. And so just for the you guys out there watching, so Gloria, she does have her wellness community structure set up properly. She's doing her weekly wellness show, which is really the core of her marketing strategy. So maybe share with us, how did you make that shift from salesperson to educator? Because of course, that's kind of what many people were taught, right? Is just get on social. They didn't say it quite in the way like, well, I mean, they even do say sell on social, but how did you make that shift, would you say, from there?
Well, actually, I was really lousy at selling. And so if I could do something else, it was just hard for me because the first company I was in, people will probably recognize it by the description. It was a weekly grilling of how many people you had, how many retail sales you had made. And I didn't make a lot. And I felt like I was selling the proverbial soaps and pills because I was. And prices kept going up and membership was renewable every year and it was always more expensive. And so I just quit and I decided I wasn't cut out for that. I was a teacher, right? So when I found out that social media was really about educating, this became the perfect spot for me. I was attracted first by the ethics, by the company, the way it did the products, the research, all of this, because I'm a little bit of a research nerd in some ways as an educator. And so I had found my niche in more than one way with being able to educate people. And so in my community group, which is the broader community, I try to post things that are educational and give them information and see if I can get a response from people. It doesn't always work. I'm doing daily, if I remember, I don't know if you remember about daily things, little reels or what do we call
stories?
It's not a post, it's story, or stories, because people tend to watch those more than they do to read posts. People have very short attention spans. I'm working on being as economical as I can in my wellness show because people just don't want to sit through something long.
Right.
So I rip through some stuff and I talk too fast, but I have had a good number of viewers lately, so I'm happy with that. I think eventually one of them will say, hey, I'm interested in the business. Tell me about this. But I don't push people. It's just not in my nature.
Well, it's such a perfect fit that you're a teacher. And one thing just to share with folks, so one of the things that we've done is we're helping Gloria to find her target audience. And one of the ways we've done that is we've given her a list of 50 wellness struggles, common wellness struggles people have. And have you had a chance to narrow down a couple of those, Gloria, that you plan on targeting on your social messaging?
Well, let's see. I have that list right in front of me. I do want to do the low energy and fatigue because that's just something that people struggle with all the time. And losing weight and maintaining a healthy weight, which I think is the important aspect of losing weight is that not that you can lose it, but that you can maintain it. And the program that we have going right now, that is a challenge that I'm offering to my people in the community that I'm going to start next week, is perfect for that. And I've heard some really good things from people this morning on a call about the results that they've had. And for instance, if you're like me and you don't need to lose weight, turn some of your flab into muscle. It weighs the same, but you look different and you measure differently.
Right on. Maybe just share a quick tip or something that's worked for you with regards to how you've been using stories on social to help you build that trust with your audience.
Just sharing an experience with products. Sometimes people will respond to that. And actually, when I did not my last wellness call, but the one broadcast, but the one before, a member of mine who had signed up and basically not done anything watched that, and she messaged me or commented, "Good job. Where's the wellness center?" And I was trying to find out where Facebook had put it, because it seems to change every week. So I found it and I put it in there. But it was that she wanted to know how to join that. So I'm going to have to follow up and see if she did. But just, telling that story and giving some information, it's a combination of both, being educational and sharing my story about how I got started. And so got one person who has been dormant, you could say, not doing much of anything, to respond, looking for voices from people to when I tell a story. And so with low energy, I have the perfect story. I didn't think I was low energy, but I found out that I could have more energy with less sleep, so, and people might be looking for that,
I agree. So just again, to help you guys sort of familiar with the approach we've taken with Gloria. So because Gloria has had an existing business, our first approach was, let's get everybody that you've already got into your retention group, right? Your VIP customer group. Let's kind of button that down. Make sure that everybody that you already have, basically it's like mining the diamonds in your backyard before we worry about finding new people. Because if you're not connecting with the ones you already have, why are we going to have all these new people? Or we're going to just run into the same problem. So we've done that with Gloria, and now we're moving to help her start to target her audience with the wellness struggles that she just mentioned earlier. Maybe just share with the audience too, what tools have you found most helpful for your business, Gloria?
Well, number one, and this is the YFP tool, is the weekly newsletter and the monthly newsletter. Now, more people read the monthly newsletter than they do the weekly, I have to say, because people have email fatigue, I think, just kind of overload. But more of them will read the monthly newsletter, which incorporates the weekly ones are little summaries of things along the way. So it's okay if they don't do the weekly, but I am keeping in touch with them. I also have a card system. I try to recognize their anniversaries with the company and achievements, and I'm really late with holiday cards this year. Things have transpired with the computer going down and little things like that. Yeah. And I also have the challenge of some people who are not on social media absolutely refuse to use it, so I have to mail newsletters to them. So it's a lot of things, but those two things are very useful to me, keeping me going, and it's automated. The newsletter is automated. I like to add a little bit of personal touch and change stuff and change the picture every month, just so they know I'm not sending out the same thing every month. It'll look a little different. And just stay in touch that way, along with phone calls, which are critical. Calling people, emailing, whatever.
Well, I was just taking a quick look here. So just so everybody sees, Gloria had a great month too. You did 5,200 in December. So, big congratulations to you there. And so it's proof that what you're doing is working. So appreciate so much you being here, Gloria. Thank you for joining us. And of course, I just love having you in coaching. So we're going to, let's give Gloria a big shout out to those of you that are watching.